Hi, and welcome to the St. Charles Public Library's Starrytime, here in the Helen Gale Story Room. I'm Miss Amelia, and tonight our theme is Dinosaurs! Because it's Dino-vember! And I was excited because this means I get to read one of my favorite books ever. Oh, but first, before we get started, let's sing our hello song. You ready? You say hello, and I say hello, and we say hello together. You say hello, and I'll say hello in warm or wintry weather. Oh, it's about that time for the wintry weather to be happening, isn't it? We'll see. Oh, you guys, this is the best book ever. It's my favorite, and it's called The Dinosaur That Pooped a Planet by Tom Fletcher and Dougie Pointner. I absolutely love it, and it's illustrated by Gary Parsons. Dinosaur that pooped a planet. Danny and Dinosaur liked to have fun. Some days they had lots, and some days they had none. One day they were bored. They had no games to play. Danny said, "Dinosaur, what shall we do today? We could mow the lawn. We could clean up the place. We could do our chores, or we could go to space." "Oh, but you mustn't forget to have lunch," Mommy said. "You cannot have fun unless you've been fed." So they packed a packed lunch for the Science Museum, where rockets were kept if you wanted to see them. Good idea. There were hundreds of rockets and spaceship surprises, tall ones and small ones of all shapes and sizes, and one that was ready to launch with a door big enough for a boy and his pet dinosaur. They ignored all the warnings. They couldn't care less. They pressed all the things they shouldn't have pressed. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition! They started their intergalactic space mission. They flew higher than houses and buildings and cranes, much higher than birds, even higher than planes. There they go. "We're in space!" Danny yelled as they floated around. But the dinosaur's tum made a rumbling sound. Danny looked at his watch. "Oh, is it time for a snack?" Then he looked all around for the dino's lunch pack. Danny started to panic. Then he started to worry. Their lunch was back home because they'd left in a hurry. So with no food, not even a cheeseburger bun, a disastrous dinosaur feast had begun. It gobbled up gadgets and gizmos galore. Nothing was safe from the space dinosaur. Robots and ray guns and blinking red blinkers, eating things thought up by NASA's great thinkers. Uh-oh, he's eating everything. It chewed and it chomped on the spaceship controls. The rocket was dotted with dino tooth holes. The spaceship was empty. Inside it was bare. Outside there was space stuff to eat everywhere. It broke down the door with a cool ninja chop. Out in space, dinosaurs are much harder to stop. There he goes. It chomped on the moon like a big chunk of cheese. Then it shoved even more in its mouth with a squeeze. It munched on the Martians from Mars and their cats. Their cats are like ours, but their cats wear cool hats. Satellites, Saturn, and 6 supernovas, shape-shifting saucers, and 7 space rovers. 7. It guzzled 5 gallons of fuel from the tank, and Danny's jaw dropped as he watched what it drank. With a crunch and a crack and a nom 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 nom, in one dino gulp, their rocket was gone. Now nothing was left. All Danny could see was a fat dinosaur where the rocket should be. And so they were stranded with no way back home. Just Danny and Dino in space, all alone. Now Danny was crying. He cried and he cried. He cried and his tears filled his spacesuit inside. Unless they were going to stay there forever, the dinosaur needed to do something clever. With a feeling of guilt deep down in its gut, its brain brewed a plan involving its butt. It knew there was only one thing it could do. To get them back home, it needed to poo! Yep, you heard that right. Ew! Like a poop-powered rocket, the dinosaur flew, so Dan held on tight. It was all he could do. It pooped out the robots and ray guns and blinkers. The things NASA's thinkers thought up were now stinkers. It pooped out the moon. It pooped out the stars. It pooped out the space rovers and the Martians from Mars. Oh, so gross. When Danny looked back, he could see a poop trail from far out in space all the way to the dinosaur's tail. They headed for Earth and they started to orbit. It pooped on the clouds, but the clouds just absorbed it. Ew. They flew past the buildings and streets of their town, leaving the houses all smelly and brown, and finally landed back down on the ground. Hooray, Danny cried. We're home, safe and sound. Then Dino looked up to the moon way up high, where a new poopy planet had formed in the sky. And so Danny agreed with what Mommy had said, that fun is not fun unless you've been fed. That's right. And just when you thought all the pooping was done, a Mars cat plopped out of the dinosaur's bum. There he is. The end. Oh, it's so gross, but it's so silly. I think that book is one of my absolute favorites. We read it at our house all the time. All right, so before we get to the second book, our last book, we're going to do our finger play. And this time around, we've been doing the Itsy Bitsy Spider. So the first time we'll do it, we can do big spiders. And the second time we do it, we'll do tiny spiders. Ready? The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. And out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again. Let's do it again. Tiny spiders. The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. And out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again. Good job, you guys. I love the itsy bitsy spider. All right, that means it's time for our last book of the night. It's called 10 Minutes to Bed, Little Dinosaur by Rhiannon Fielding and Chris Chatterton. They've got a picture of the land of Nod. In a faraway land, across mountains and seas, where strange creatures live among tall jungle trees, there can often be heard a great echoing roar. 10 minutes to bed, little dinosaur! With 3 pointed horns and 4 great big feet, Rumble was crashing around in the heat. 9 minutes to bed. Don't go far, warned his mom. But this little dinosaur loved to have fun. Deep in the jungle, a hullabaloo. Frogs hopped around as birds fluttered and flew. 8 minutes to bed, came the call loud and strong, as Rumble the dinosaur thundered along. Splashing around in a warm pool of mud and chasing his tail till he fell with a thud. He knew there were just 7 minutes to bed, but Rumble preferred an adventure instead. Passing through mountains, he heard a strange sound. The world seemed to tremble from deep underground. He looked to the sky with 6 minutes to go and saw a volcano beginning to glow. From the sky came a roar. Rumble stumbled and ducked. Boom! The volcano began to erupt. Hot lava bubbled, the sky filled with ash. Rocks crumbled and fell to the ground with a crash. From out of the valley poured dinosaurs small, dinosaurs heavy, and dinosaurs tall. The ground below shook as they all hurtled past. 5 minutes, they said, so you'd better run fast. They know Rumble's bedtime too. As he ran, with his heart beating fast in his chest, Rumble finally saw a safe place he could rest. 4 minutes to bed, but where am I wonder? From high in the sky came a loud roll of thunder. Below a great mountain where birds swoop and soar lay Rumble, the littlest dinosaur. 3 minutes to bed, said a voice from the gloom, and a shadow appeared by the light of the moon. Who do you think that is? Let's find out. On 4 great big feet, she bent down to her son. Rumble opened his eyes and looked up at his mom. 2 minutes, she said. You are never alone. Then at last, side by side, they both shuffled back home. The evening was bathed in a soft silver light as his mom tucked him in and she kissed him good night. 1 minute to bed, that means no more exploring. Oh. But Rumble was already fast asleep, snoring. The end. Oh, you guys, that was so nice. But now it means it's time to sing our goodbye song. You all ready? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Everyone, give yourself a big hug. Night, night, sweet dreams. See you next time.